Alright Zerg friends, it's me, Fenner, and we are going to go ahead and look over these patch notes that have just come up. This patch will be coming out in a couple of days, so let's go ahead and have a look at it here. So what we got, currently we're thinking about waiting on the Tempest, the increase to Tempest damage versus structures. While we believe the issue of long drawn out swarm host plays in late game PvZ is still something we'd like to solve, we're just not 100% sure if the Tempest plus structure damage is the right change, and we're discussing what might be the best change to help solve this. See, I don't agree with this at all. It's not fixing the issue, it's just trying to speed up the issue a bit, but the change is not big enough that it's gonna speed it up. Like, even if you're having 2-hour games, it was like a 30% increase. No, it was a 100% increase against structures. Like, you're only gonna cut off like 30 minutes of the game, right? So I think the real issue with the PvZ late game is that spines and spores are too strong. They're too strong because they can move around, whereas everyone else's static defense can't move around, which means that it doesn't matter if there's swarm hosts or not. You're going to get these scenarios where a Zerg player is just going to be building static defense because they can move it around and sit behind it, whereas other races can't. So even if they completely remove the swarm host, I really think that people would still go infest a brood with mass spine spore or any kind of other composition. With the Vipers, static defense is insane. It doesn't really matter what else you have as long as you've got enough damage to deal to the ground army before it can push through, because Vipers can just keep pulling things in. So I think they need to actually, well, if I was balancing the game, I would change something to static defense. I would make it not being able to move and make it a bit stronger to counter that. But that's a whole another scenario altogether, so I don't want to talk about that too much. If someone wants me to talk about that in more detail, then let me know and I'll do a real video on it, because I think I've got some really good ideas for dealing with the swarm host play that a lot of people hate right now. And I really don't think it's the swarm host itself. I think it's to do with static defense and the way other races are designed to beat it. So hold off on the blink cooldown. Yeah, it did seem like a pretty big nerf, but yeah, it did seem like a pretty big nerf. I'm not too sure what to think of the blink cooldown. Maybe a bit less, but if they do a bit less, then it doesn't matter too much, so that's the tough one. Widowmine splash damage increased from 40 to 40 plus 40 shields. This doesn't affect Zerg matchups at all, because obviously we don't have shields as Zerg, and I don't know too much about TVP. I don't want to talk about TVP at all, because we're Zerg, man. So let's get to the real change here. Hydralisk attack delay decreased from 8.3 to 7.5, so this is a 10% increase in attack speed for the Hydralisk. How does this change things? Well, first of all, as it says, we believe this change is good for all 3 matchups. After testing in ZVP, it seems to make a significant difference, even though it's turning out to be not as big as we initially thought before starting testing. I think that it's going to be extremely strong on wide open third maps, because Hydra timings are already strong. Like Polar Night, people always go for a Hydra timing on the third because there's just so much space to attack into, and with a 10% increase, I think we're going to see Hydra Ling timings pretty much every time on those wide third maps, because 10% doesn't sound like a lot, but since it's already strong, like, it's going to be crazy. So this change is going to be very interesting to me, because I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out without testing it myself, but in my mind it seems really strong. Now, a lot of the maps currently are really easy to defend the third base. Polar Night is pretty much one of the only ones where it's a super wide attack entrance into the third, so you can deal with that. But also something else is going to help out a lot with Immortal Sentries and all-ins like that off 2 base, where you can get Hydras out in time, because they're going to be doing a lot more damage, so you're going to need less Hydras to deal with those, and you can use things like drones to tank, whilst the Hydras do a lot more damage and kill things off a lot quicker. So I think it's definitely going to help out a lot with 2 base all-ins from Protoss. In ZVZ, you see a lot of players just go pure Roach right now. The Koreans just go straight to 200 Roach, and that's because Sasquatch told me that basically if you try and start mixing in Hydras, then the Roach timing will just kill you. And I was talking to Pig as well, and Pig said that people don't go Hydras because you can't really be aggressive with them until you get the Hydra speed. So I'm not sure if this buff is going to be big enough that people will mix in Hydras before they hit 200. Right now, people generally put spines down when they hit 200 and try and trade away roaches in different places all around the map so they can start mixing in Hydras, Infestors, and all the late game units that you want in a ZVZ. But Hydras aren't used that much in a mid-game ZVZ right now, so that might allow them to be used in the mid-game. If it is a big change, I'm not sure exactly how strong it will be in ZVZ. In ZVT, I don't think it's going to change much at all, guys. Maybe Roach Hydra all-ins will be strong, like the Tefl all-in that I did a video on a while ago will be a bit stronger. But with that all-in, it was mainly about the Roaches anyway, because Hydras are just too glass cannony, so I don't think it's going to affect ZVT too much at all. But then the other change is the Mothership Core Vision decreased from 14 to 9. Beautiful change, beautiful change. I mean, the vision range of 14 was just absolutely insane. I mean, the Mothership Core stops all-ins anyway with the Nexus Cannon, and with 14 range, like, it just stops them again. I'm talking about ZVP here. In other matchups, it's also got other issues, like they can see exactly what's going on in a TVP and just start blinking everywhere. But for ZVP, it's mostly about doing all-ins and, you know, just positioning your units. Mothership Core just gives all the vision, so when you go into attack, they know exactly where it's coming from. If you're doing an all-in, they know exactly where the units are way before they get to your base and things like that, so it's crazy. So 9 vision is a lot better, I think, and that's just a good change all around for all of the matchups. And I'm glad to see that. What else? We feel confident about these changes, blah, blah, blah. We're still looking into Swarm Host usage. Yeah, I still disagree that the Swarm Hosts are the problem. I know a lot of people will not agree with me on that, and I probably will do a video just talking about what I think about the Swarm Host situation right now. We're targeting Friday, February 28th, so how long's that? 2 days, so 2 days until this patch comes out, guys. These new Hydras are definitely going to be fun to play with. Hope you guys enjoy the patch. Definitely a decent one for Zerg, since there's nothing bad about it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace. Counterattack. So this is a really strong way to play in a ZVZ. Even just 2 roaches on a counterattack and force so much from your opponent. Not that they're going to do a lot of damage. That's not the key part of a counterattack. The main thing that you're getting from a counterattack is